So we can wait for sometimes till the members are going to join actually. Bhavesh,
Yes, sir.
can you call the Patnaik sir?
Yes, sir. I'm calling.
Join.
Okay, sir. Sir, he's joining the meeting. He is having some network issue.
Yeah, actually, you can just say that all the or most of the members are joined.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir. I'm calling.
Hello.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. I'm seeing some issues in the joining. It's showing the joining shortly from my laptop. But some mobile I could able to join. I'm just connecting from other device.
So good afternoon, to all of you. Uh, so actually, that this one is the one of the IIC event, calendar event. Just I am. It is my humble submission to all of the faculty member who are present over here. You just mention your name and department and SIT number on that chat box. because these are all of the data are required to upload on the IIC portal, and also the students are required to mention their uh, department as well as name, right? So it is request to all of you do that one. And Bhabesh, I have what I have told yesterday. You can take care of that.
Yes, sir.
And so I request to Manpreet about to begin the session. And also that Satapio, you can
Sure, sir.
start the
Thank
live
you,
stream.
sir.
Manpreet, just a second. I'm just seeing some problems. 2 minutes.
Okay, sir.
Satapio, are you ready to do that live streaming?
Yes, sir. Manpreet, we can start.
Okay, sir. So, very good evening to all the students and faculty members joining us today for this event of incubation opportunities for students and faculty members organized by Institutions Innovation Council, C.V.Raman Global University, Odisha. Today, we have with us our speaker, Mr. Bhagabati Prasad Pattnaik, CEO of Atal Incubation Center, CGU, Odisha. Now, speaking about him, He has done his master's in renewable energy system design and currently doing PhD in predictive control of wind energy conversion system. He is a license holder and certified as a master trainer for dietetics and enhanced teaching methods for certification program under Skills Sector Council for Green Jobs and RENAC, Germany. Having trained over 500 trainees from solar PV technician to solar PV system design and analysis, he has been a huge part of some of the successful projects like renewable energy potential and usage evaluation for 13 districts of Odisha, smart microgrid in island village of Odisha, weight-based management projects, and renewable energy policy draft under Government of Odisha. And along with that, his contribution in Smart Campus has been bestowed with Best Performance Award for Energy Conservation for 5 consecutive years by Government of Odisha. Along with that, the Smart Villages that were awarded under Smart Village and Smart Cities category in 2016. Today, he is with us to share his knowledge and brief us all about how to give a head start to your business ideas through startup incubation for students and faculty fraternity can make use of these opportunities to engage themselves in effective product IP, technology licensing and research and development with their fellow students as a startup mentor. Hope you all will be benefited by this session and looking forward for all your questions and suggestions. Now I'd like to ask Mr. Bhagabati sir to commence today's event. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Uh, is my screen available? I mean, visible to everybody? Hello?
Not yet,
Yet,
sir.
sir. Not yet, sir.
Not yet. Is it?
No, sir.
I'm not getting this link to share the slide. Who is the host? Fabes?
Sir, hello.
Yes, sir. I am the host. Sir, what is the problem
Uh,
you are facing?
this
Now is coming. Now is coming.
the screen sharing option.
No,
You
now
can see
now is
the
going.
screen.
It's opening.
Okay. Is my screen available?
No, is a black screen is.
Hello?
The screen is not visible, sir.
Okay. Okay, just a second. Is it there?
Not yet, sir.
Gone.
Yes, sir.
I request all of the members to turn on their camera so that we can take a snapshot of this event. I again request all of the members to turn on their camera for a few minutes to so that we can take a snapshot.
Sir, is it visible?
Yes, sir. It's visible now. Now
Yes,
it's
sir. It's
visible.
visible now. Sir.
Yes, sir.
So, good afternoon, everyone. This is Bhagabati. Yeah, from Atal Incubation Center, CGU. Thank you, Innovation Institute Innovation Council, CGU. And today's topic that has been to be discussed is incubation opportunities for students and faculty. Uh, so this kind of the future, student as well as the faculty as well as the university landscape requirement that the global ecosystem has sort of not if you see the administration of various countries, the developed and developing countries have looked upon the kind of the kind of incubators to be more successful and seriously taken are the academic incubators. If we just look at the landscape of Indian startup at a glance, then we see there are around 10,000 startups coming every year in India, and by now, by 20, it's around it's creating five lakhs jobs every year, directly or indirectly. And by today, if you consider, there are around 37 to 40 unicorns. Unicorns are the startups who have more than $1 billion revenues generated, are there in India. And India stands at the third largest startup hub in the world after USA and China. So, looking at these, status of these startups in global ecosystem, there are a few facts also which are conveying in the similar line. Are the things like the DPIIT, the Department of Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, under which the Startup India governs, is claiming that the startups in India are creating around 5 lakhs 60,000 jobs till now. And then out of that, directly there are 2 lakhs jobs, and indirectly there are 3 to 3.5 lakhs jobs created in and around the ecosystem of the startup, in and around the supply chain of the startups. And then if you look at the top growing startup today in India is Byju's, who has created 20,000 jobs in just last 6 months. And out of that, there is a significant statistics that it has shown is it has onboarded 11,000 women employees into its company. So if you see that this kind of growth, which has been non-conventional, which has been off to the kind of growth that we had seen in industries, are now varying. And if you see the blue line, which is indicating the Asia Pacific is growing very faster, and yellow is around North America, which has been topped with the Silicon Valley kind of ecosystems existing. So Asia Pacific have been crossing Europe and closing towards the North America, this the exemplary startup ecosystem of the world. Why? Because India and China are falling under Asia Pacific region, and China is having the top number of unicorns in the globe, something 200 odd unicorns, and after that, America is having something 150, and then India is with 37. And if you look at the growth of the unicorns, the growth of the revenue in the startup in India are very fast, and they are like in last 4 months we have seen around 6 unicorns coming up in India. So this is the growth that we are looking at in the startup ecosystem. The recent 2020 startup ecosystem global ranking, if you see, India has marked 3 of its startup hubs into this, topping Bangalore at 26th position in the globe, 36 at Delhi, Delhi, which has NCR and Noida kind of ecosystem. Then we have Chennai within 50 to 61, Hyderabad within 71 to 80, and Pune also falling in the same. And Bombay is coming. This Bombay, Hyderabad, Chennai, and Pune are coming up in the emerging global startup ecosystems. So India is including almost every side of it in terms of if you talk about Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad from north, south, Delhi from north, Pune and Mumbai from west. Apart, eastern region is a bit lagging now. Otherwise, rest of India has been very well growing and has created its mark in the global, ecosystem of startups. What I was talking about, India's Unicorns Club, in 2020, we have seen around 11 startups which has reached a revenue status of more than $1 billion. So, which has been a very good success for Indian startup ecosystem, which has taken India's startup ecosystem to the third largest ecosystem in the world. And if you see in the last couple of months, where the globe is, struggling with Corona, there we are seeing there are around 10 startups coming in last 4 months. If you have heard about it, Crade, Pharmacy, Pharmacy is the outlet of the medicines which you see outside. Grow, SageChart, Gupsup, all these have recently joined the Unicorns Club. Recently has crossed their revenue generation more than $1 billion. Yeah, this is just, if you see these, there are 6 startups, from April 5th to April 8th, just in 4 days, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, there are 6 startups which have joined the Unicorn Club. That means even in the negative, global statistical growth, India is seeing many startups converting into unicorns. Now, looking at the startup ecosystem statistics in a different angle, you see 36% of the startups. I hope we are aligned with the kind of the presentation and the verbal that I'm coming with. Are you there in the Indian startup founder statistics? We are on the slide. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello. Yeah, we are on the Indian startup founder statistics slide.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So you
Yes,
see
sir.
there the founders profile. If you see, the founders are almost 36 founders. The 36% of the founders from the startups are solely engineers. The no other fraternity has so much involved into these innovation and startup ecosystem creation all over the globe, and in India also. You see, these are 36% of the startups are from engineering background. Yeah, and 73% of the startups, if you see, they are from 36 years of age. They are almost everybody is falling into the just experienced, kind of youngsters who are the founders of various startups. So you would be able to guess what kind of integration I want to show is that the national vision of the Indian government is to create more and more number of such innovative startups who are falling into the billionaires club. And simultaneously, if you see these statistics also, this shows that 36% of the startups are into engineering, are called as deep tech startups, deep technology startups. Almost of the successful startups around the globe, if you see, they are deep tech startups. So then we can also see in a different angle that what are the different sectors, what are the different technology sectors the startups belong to. We can have one more, breaking into kind of, if you see, it's transport, which is around 11%. Transport, if you say, these are EVs, these are, what one of our startups is working in EVs, one of our startups is working in drones, a couple of our startups, one is working in flying taxis. So these are all falling under the future technology of transportation. So out of the total startups, in India, 11% are into transport technologies, future transport technologies. Smart home and cities, 15% of the startups are falling into smart home and cities. Services, platforms development, 10% of the startups. Logistics, 8% of the startups. Industrial automation and monitoring and control kind of things, 12% of the startups. Healthcare, 12% of the startups. Agri-tech, 12% of the startups. And rest of the regions, rest of the sectors, it's around 27%. But if you see, around 70% of the startup sectors are directly or indirectly relevant to our kind of ecosystem, university, CGU kind of ecosystem. If you talk about transportation, we can do on that. If you talk about smart home and cities, we can take the problems from smart home and cities and work on that. Services, various services, online and offline, can be in thought of. Platform development, it may be application, it may be portal, it may be digital marketing, something like that. RPA kind of robotic process automation kind of thing, industrial automation kind of thing, logistics, creation of logistics, and making easy of logistic transportation can be a part of it. Healthcare, agritech, we are very well into agritech since last year, and many other ideas which can also be leveraged, leveraging these all technologies and develop their product and market and access into the startup ecosystem. So this is very indication that we are getting that with the statistics, with the global and national statistics, we are very well into the kind of requirement to create a very successful startup ecosystem in our campus. If you see just at the other side of these, this also, you see the top doing startup ecosystem in India, which is Bangalore and Delhi. There is a comparison of Bangalore and Delhi. You see why Bangalore is ahead of Delhi is that Bangalore has 150 engineering universities, whereas Delhi has 90. The graduates that are coming out of Bangalore is 95,000 graduates, engineering graduates, and from Delhi it's 35,000. And if you see the AI, ML, the services, application development, all that, which are falling into computer science and IT graduates, if you see that, they're also almost a double of the number of the IT graduates been generated in Bangalore than compared to Delhi. So why and what makes Bangalore the hottest and the biggest startup hub in India? It's very well before you. It's nothing but engineering, computer science, IT. Computer science, IT are the technology sectors, but agritech, healthcare, industrial, transportation, smart home and city are these applications. So in a whole, we can just find out, we can just conclude or get the right signal that we are well inside and capable of developing this kind of potential in our university, and in Eastern India also we can contribute to be a very good hub, which has been yet neglected in the Indian map of startups. How the business incubator help the startups? Let's look at what a startup requires to what an innovator requires to develop its idea to a very well-grown, scaled-up, expanded business entity. So an innovator comes with an idea. An innovator may be a first-year student, maybe a second-year student, maybe a faculty who is working on a particular problem, and he can come with that idea and what kind of supports you would be getting in the ecosystem, what we call as incubator, that can help the startup idea to grow into a business entity. Can be a seed funding, which Atal Incubation Center that we own here in our campus is providing seed funding of something, 5 lakhs to 20 lakhs for the selective innovative ideas. Then mentoring. There are very good mentors onboarded to our IIC and also there in the university who can help on need-based required to these startups. Technical assistance, we have got around 20 odd center of excellences which can be utilized for the startups for the technology development of their product, for shortening the time of rapid prototyping of the startups, which can come up at a very low time, who can come up with their product, and then they can work for scalability, expansion of the and market acceptability of the product. Intellectual property management, you guys very well know that in the last month or the previous, February 27th, we had tied up with National Research Development Corporation to assist us in terms of intellectual property management, to facilitate the kind of innovation which are happening in our campus, to create the intellectual preservation for them in terms of IPs, in terms of trademarks, in terms of design patents, copyrights, and all that. So that facility also we are taking now as an association with NRDC. Maybe in future, in short, we will be getting a very good established, intellectual property facilitation center in our campus. Networking is the best thing that an incubator can offer to a startup to grow faster in its environment. Networking, like it has industries attached, who can adopt the startup development, who can be a customer to the startup. The MSMEs can be customers to the startups. The networking also includes the angels and the venture capital people who can fund the startup, looking at its viability, looking at its feasibility, looking at its growth and all that, and shared operational cost. Shared operational cost, like a student from second year comes with an idea, don't have any infrastructure, revenue, nothing with him other than the idea. So there we can adopt the innovator into our incubator, help him providing some space where he can think, use internet, use the rapid prototyping labs to develop their product. So operational cost of the startup, where in the beginning he doesn't have any money with him, or he has hardly his pocket money and something else. So we can share our infrastructure for his purpose to make his objectives easy, feasible, and growing properly in the prescribed timeline. And also inexpensive workplace. Like he cannot take an office somewhere. He cannot take all. He cannot have a particular equipment for a particular development. So we can all that have in our facility where the startups can utilize that and really can help themselves developing into a business. So then, why an academic incubator? What is the per se of the university to look at the funding agency to look at the academic incubators? Why the funding agencies? Why the government look at to create more incubators inside the university? Because the university is a catchment with existing sector focuses. Catchment is in what an incubator requires. An incubator requires very good ideas. An incubator requires young innovators. So a university is having, like if you talk about CGU is having some 4,000, 5,000 innovators into many sector focuses. CS and IT, mechanical, civil, agriculture, marine. You talk about, we are going to having medicines and stuff like that. So multidisciplinary sector focuses are there existing in a preset before you look at to have an incubator inside. So there are young minds who are moved to dive down into new sectors, new explorations, creating ideas, implementing ideas, and there are a hell lot of sectors, a hell lot of diversity of technology, knowledge inside the campus. That's why the funding for the university to be, for the incubator to be created. I think I'm audible.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much. Then it's a hub of youngsters that we covered. Then has various from Dr. Kanungo that somebody is preparing something and they want to put a file an IP on that. Such faculty involvement with the students, developing into sector focused research and development. Those things can be extended to a thought process of creating a startup, creating a business entity, or licensing of the technologies, or transfer an IP kind of things, which is very feasible inside an university environment. Infrastructure for rapid prototyping development, we discussed about, like various labs which we have can be utilized for the development of the product and so it's a trusted partner. And the most important part is any university in a regional setup is the trusted partner with anybody in that setup. Talk about local governments, talk about industries, MSMEs, market partners. Everybody knows that this university has been existing since last 25 years. They have been growing our kids and wards into engineers, doctors, and all that. So people have a faith system with your university. So your kind of guidance, conversion, implementation would definitely be bringing more people on board, more innovators participating and converting the idea of creating incubator into success. So if you look at the academic incubator in terms of institutes per se, if why an university intend to have an incubator inside the university is that to prepare the students a holistic and experiential learning ecosystem. Holistic as in, Like we are doing in the class a particular subject, but we don't know where the subject takes part. We don't know where is its implementation. We don't know what kind of analytics can be done in the subject. We don't know what are the case studies available, use cases available relevant to that subject area. So this kind of existence in a campus, it gives a perspective holistic, and also students can go and partner, go and do internship, go and participate in the events that has been there in the incubators and around, to have an experiential learning. So existence of such incubators in the campus elevates your kind of learning process in the campus. And as we know that this the era of millennials, this the era of Gen Zs, who are thinking many things to do. I know earlier we were just thinking about a class, the now out of it, and what to write in the examination. That was the old school thought. But now we are thinking of doing many other things. I saw in the last events, business model canvas, all the participants were from first year. And one of the participants was having such a beautiful idea. He has started already working on it, and he is looking at a problem inside the university. And the other group, the girls are working on a social issues, and then like finding out problems around you, daring to working on it, daring to develop a solution for this, and validating the solution features which are meeting the customer's requirement or not, meeting the needy's requirement or not. That sort of evaluation analysis is nothing but a holistic and experiential learning that can bring into your campus with the existence of such incubators inside. Universities remain competitive and relevant. Like you talk about ARIA, you talk about NIRF, has been put together just to create a competitive environment inside the universities, and those are coming from this sort of involvement inside the environment, inside the university, to attract and retain entrepreneurial students. Like we need more number of students who are converting their learnings into practices in terms of creating in terms of creating jobs, in terms of creating business entities. So they take more people, so they also come back to the alma mater and do research and development, product development on all that with the university. So faculty research and development now attach with the kind of companies that are developed inside the university. So their product development, futuristic developments happens inside the campus. So think about that platform, think about that sort of connectivity. Once it is developed inside the university, you will look at various networks coming on with the industry, with market, with funding agencies. Everybody will be there in your campus with various technology and sectoral developments. Bringing research and development culture, this will definitely push, because the university is nothing but the student and faculty members, and all this that we are talking about can only be brought onto the table with the help of these fraternities. The students and the faculty members, they can come together, searching for new problems, designing problems in terms of various sustainable technologies been involved, and then involve themselves in IP generation, creating developments, filing technology transfers, industry collaborations, funds for development, many a thing. With respect to their career, with respect to their profile, they can also participate into innovation management, creating business and all that. So this is solely possible through the participation of the student and the faculty members, creating an innovative ecosystem to map its success in a competitive world. Definitely, today, all of you, the first year students and second year students, all the students those who have taken admission into the university, they have searched for a few rankings. And what are the rankings based on? The rankings is based on all innovation, research, development, and innovative approaches inside the classroom and all that. So when we are taking admission, we are looking at all these parameters, that what score it has got in NIRF, what score it has got in ARIA. But tomorrow, when we join after, we go back to the old school thoughts and we just seize ourselves inside the classroom. We don't take it forward for further levels of analysis, development, creation, and all that. So we have to look at this holistic growth and make a success together with the incubator university and its partners as students and faculty. This is the new classroom that is looking at. The new classroom ends not just within those 40, 45 or 1 hour, minutes or 1 hour. It takes further after the class to problem solving, finding, critical thinking, what have been what have been inculcated in the class. You're taking forward with critical thinkings. You're taking forward to find out innovations and taking forward to look at what opportunities available to link the class to the solution, to the sector, to the technology, and what kind of choices the students got to make with this sort of growth. And then so that's called as connected learning. That's called as the growth can be evaluated with this sort of holistic connectivity and an assessment in terms of how length and breadth you have taken your class into analysis, into problem finding, into solution design, into opportunity and innovation finding, critical thinking, design thinking, and all that. So this is the high time that we do all this in the class. So we reflect in terms of innovation, startups, IPs, TTs, and all that outside the class. So the complete education system has been seized into the very bottom two, slabs of the pyramid, that is remembering and understanding. So we are hardly thinking of applying even, but this paradigm of education demands us to the top five, top four slabs of the Bloom's taxonomy of learning. Those are once you remember, understand, then your understanding must go to application, analyze, evaluation, and then create. So synthesis must happen at the end of a particular subject, and the end of a particular chapter, end of a particular module or lab kind of thing. The take home should be in terms of apply, analysis, evaluate, and create. So we must look at, and we must come together, student and faculty must come together to look at this upper four slabs of the Bloom's taxonomy and how it can be brought in into the lab, into the classroom, into the extra class time which you are spending in the research and labs and COEs. So all that kind of things got to be brought in so that we competitively, meet this sort of rankings and also success tangible in our hand in future. If you look at in a different aspect again together, what is the future job landscape in India? The future job landscape in India is it's like as I told, the startups are creating 5 lakhs job a year. Then what kind of skilling it is requiring? The future recruitment space is getting a paradigm shift from the dominance of mass recruitment to startup based recruitment, because there are 10,000 1,000 startups coming every year. So if each startup needs 10 people also, there are 10,000 job created in each startup. But the startups who are going to the billionaire club, they're recruiting in terms of thousands. So there is not less than every year we are getting some lakhs of jobs created out of startups. And why we should opt for the jobs that are there in the startups? Because there in the startup we have limited number of people who are working for the company, and in a limited number of employees leadership position. Your role in a leadership of technology development, your role is leadership of sales and marketing, leadership of gathering funds and all that, raising funds and all. So the leadership is very much essential now to be upskilled. We cannot wait and want to be a part of emphasis, want to be a part of TCS at the last number of selection. Like 250 students are let's say selected from CGU. You will be very thankful and thanking God that you are there on the 250 number. No, but you should be scaling up yourself. You should be making ready yourself for the kind of roles that these smaller entities are coming up with. So you get a holistic growth in very limited time, and then you can shift to the bigger companies with a very good experience in the smaller startups. So that should be the objective trick and the way of doing, way of getting ready for the future job landscape. Readiness for adapting leadership roles. Readiness is in now you got to involve in technology development. Now you got to involve in analysis, applications, problem finding, solution designing, ERP, management skills, and all that. You got to be participating huge so that your readiness becomes more let's say 7 or 8 or 9 out of 10, and the startups adapt you. And you get some 20, 25,000 in Infosys TCS, but in a startup, you'll be getting something more than that, like 40, 50,000 you'll be starting with. And I have seen students who have come up in a couple of years, they have come up to 10 lakhs, 15 lakhs like that, because they are into leadership roles. And the startups who are at some lakhs, they are crossing billions in a couple of years. So when the revenue spikes up to 10 times, 20 times, your salary also spikes up to 10 times, 20 times. So it's high time to prepare yourself for the bigger roles in the smaller companies. Experience in any startups and MSMEs as intern. How do you get it? You be a part of startups. You be interns in the startup. You be in the development team of the startups. Some sort of like there are 20 startups we are having and 20 more we are recruiting. So there can be 100, 150 students can be a part of all these startups, helping them out in the product development, helping them out in the sales and management design, marketing and all that, tool development and all that. So you can be a part of the startup. You understand the process of the startup. You understand the landscape of the startups. Understand what is the futuristic goals they are having, how they are approaching. So you played a role in the leadership as an intern, and next it helps creating your readiness for getting ready into such industry platforms. If not, you can be ready as a freelancer because you understand you have worked with many startups who are working on the real-time problems, burning technologies, sustainable technologies. You have worked on, you have converted on real-time, converted the real-time issues as tools, as products. So you can later work as a freelancer who is also his own boss. Like a freelancer works on many consulting projects, takes his money, and then makes his money. So you can be a sound freelancer, work with 100 of people, 100 of startups, 100 of academies, in training, in human management, human resource development, and also product development, and also application development. So as a freelancer, also you develop a lot of skills and a lot of money, a lot of revenue, a lot of success into your hand. And you can be advisor to many of the startups who are coming up because you know technology and sector both. On the other go, the research and development and higher studies, the second option that the students opt when they're entering into a university, into a particular course. There also, you lean towards tangible research and development. Nowadays, if you see an MS in universities like US and UK and Germany, Australia, you will see no theoretical research approach is being validated there. So you got to validate your theoretical research with some sort of practice, with some sort of tangible development. So your involvement with the faculty members in terms of research and development and converting your theoretical analysis into tangible research and development, product and development kind of things, creating patterns, creating TTs. When you are in fourth year, third year, you are creating patterns. This makes very concrete that you are getting the MS in foreign university with a very good scholarship and all that. So what it comes out of is just the way we are looking at the involvement of our 4 years in the campus with the readily available infrastructures in terms of COEs and faculty members and the various sectors they are working in. What we need to build such systems, we need research, we need funding. Once you start doing research, once you're finding at least a valid problem and you could able to design a part of the problem also, you can apply for a project and get funded. So it's very important to look at the very hot cake issues and find out a valid problem out of it and partially design the problem using the very non-conventional technologies, sustainable technologies. Then you're getting funded for the rest of the development through many of the departments in Government of India, many of the CSR in industries. So that can be brought in, and that can, after development, we can connect the students who are involved in that to create a startup, to talk to the customers, validate, develop the minimum viable product, develop the first 100 customers, talk to the venture capitalist, and expand like a company. So those sort of things are very much possible. So innovations ecosystem, which was not including much of customer and incubator kind of things, now in a startup ecosystem, those are all aided. New findings, service providers, support organizations. There are a lot of stakeholders who will help you to convert your innovation into startup. So innovation is somewhere partly existing in our campus, but the startup to become it, to make it a startup ecosystem, we are onboarding partners into incubator who you can also access and see or dream of converting your innovation thoughts, innovative ideas into startups. So this is a kind of a faculty-student mixed way of thinking how to leverage these availabilities, these facilities inside the campus to do a holistic innovation management and development inside the campus. These things leads to these all like technology transfer. There's SRIC is your sponsored research, and consulting, industrial consulting. IIPC is Industry Institute Partnership Cell, where startups come up, where research publications come up, patents comes up, technology transfers comes up. So all these efforts will convert into these. And the last and important leverage that we can have from the campus is as CGU has some 4,000 odd strength, every batch has something 1,500, close to 1,500. So we are developing something like 500 to 700 projects every year. So those 500 to 700 projects, the people have been people have been keeping thinking of what projects I'll be doing as a mini project, what projects how the mini projects will be extended to the meso project, and what kind of projects and thesis I'll be doing in undergrads, in postgrads, in PhDs, and all that. So as that was the only goal that of development that we used to have when we are taking admission into the course, so why we are letting it go easily? We should have a concrete design. I would prefer the first year and second year students start talking to the faculty members in terms of what measure product they will be doing in final year and how to create the pavement for that. And the faculty also, I request not to discourage like, oh, you're just at first year, just at second year, come in third year. And no, please encourage them by giving some sort of literature, looking at his interest. If it doesn't have any defined interest area, there must be given couple of interest areas to evaluate and concrete where his interest lying, and then picking up area, picking up a problem. This takes couple of years. PhD students, they take 1.5 years around to fix an area and a problem. So our undergrad students should be taking more time to pick an area and a problem. So we faculty members should help them picking an area, making them understand what are the different upcoming sectors, problems, and what are the different technologies they are they need to work with. So once they're ready with that, then they can start working on the project. And as we understand nowadays, the technology, the product, the sectors are changing rampantly. And also every 2 years, 3 years, the technology and the sectors are changing very fast. So once we learn this history of the technology and sector, we can work on updating that in the third year. And we can refresh the problems that we have thought of, sector that we have thought of, design that we have thought of, and make a very apt and competitive design in the third year to meet the requirement in the market, meet the requirement in R&D, meet the requirement in developments and industries. So there are a lot of, we cannot say that also because there are a lot of events which are happening around the year, a lot of hackathons happening around the year. So students must update themselves in various sectors. Students must learn various technologies. So they'll start participating in hackathons, develop multiple products in a particular area of interest, and then you finalize where to grow as a startup, where to grow as a techie, and all that. So you have very much opportunities available around you. Only thing is that you got to come up with the right intention, right clarity that what you're going to do, how it is going to help. We have already revealed it to you. The local ecosystem, how it can help you, where you would find a problem is that we are building networks with this kind of people. We are building networks with the local administrations. We are building networks with the local MSMEs, CSRs of the industries. So maybe down the line, 1 month or 2 months, we'll be giving you some 10, 20 industries who you can go do an internship and find out some valid problems they are facing, and then you can sit with your faculty members, try to figure out those problems, design certain solution, develop a prototype, go and fit in the industry back and see its response and validate and prepare the final product. So that sort of a second year internship in a MSME can bring you back and do a literature and develop something, a proof of concept, and go and fit it into the MSME again, observe for 6 months, and then you repeat, you do the iterations of the developments of the product, and then you give them a very what do you call, a very perpetual solution for their kind of problem they had. So once you do with one MSME, which where you had done this internship, now you can scale up this product and fit into the complete segment and sector of the MSME and who are facing similar problems. So there you are starting making money in third year and final year and working with industries, real-time problems, developing designs and patents. What more can be done in an university? What more can a university and incubator can give the student and faculty members? So the very important thing is to update always what are the 5 to 6 critical global issues, local issues, the community is looking at, the industrial community, the social community, the business community, all such communities are looking at various problems, and those problems got to be jotted down in the team with the faculty member and start working on that. So this is a regular process from first year to final year to understand what are the sectors, what are the problems which are refreshing from time to time, looking at such drastical global changes, like climate changes, like COVID and all that. So various sectors get up and downs, various technologies get validated and outdated. So we got to have an update on that and find scopes for new things to be developed. And now we can say that for the next year, projects, next year, innovative thoughts in the campus, the incubator in our campus, we have two incubators. One is DST TBI and the other is Atal Incubation Center. Both the centers have a lot of industry people onboarded who can help you in the perspective of thinking as an industry, thinking as a market-ready product, other than your subject area expertise from the faculty members, your involvement in the product development. The other side of the thing, which were not mostly considered in the academic research and development, now we have the strength. We have the strength to join with you and give you the other side of development and make a holistic development out of your innovations. So there is no point of underestimating your innovations, underestimating your itches inside your mind. You got to think, table it to your faculty, table it to us in the incubator, and then the valid resizing and the final idea can be put into practice, put into a proof of concept, put into product research and development by connecting many of people from the sector. So don't underestimate your thought process. Don't underestimate what you're thinking. It may be odd, but come and discuss. That's the assurance we can give with having so much of facilities inside the campus. And the faculty advisor must look at the students very neatly, who is thinking in what way, and encourage that sort of thoughts, validate that sort of thoughts, and pick the best of the thoughts and convert them into into the pipeline, so that then they fall into the pipeline and come out as innovators, come out as IPs, come out as startups and all that. So what we all need, we are having together the academic experts. We are also getting a lot of very intellect faculty members joining us in a couple of months, in this month or around. And I request the top management also to avail the student. The student must know the background of all the faculty members. Student must have the LinkedIn link of all the faculty members. So they go and see what sector, what research, what kind of development the faculty are involved into, and they connect to the right faculty member for the right interest. And on the other side, I request the faculty members to encourage the students also to have any sort of itches they have in their mind to convert into a validation with the help of you, me, and others who are there in this network. So we can help them in all 360 feasibility study of any of their ideas. This is another way that we can do is once we work with the students like this, we can definitely create, let's say there are 700 or 500 to 700 projects nominated every year. We can at least create 100 confident projects who can go to the next level of evaluation, who can have the industrial expert in involvement, who can help the 360 feasibility study done on it, and then we can curate that 100 ideas into a process, and the 100 ideas we led them into many participations in terms of hackathons, idea competitions, business idea competitions, and all that, and definitely out of that 100, it's an experience and statistics also, valid statistics also, that 10% of these 100 sorted, filtered ideas will be startups from your campus. So if the campus getting 10 good startups every year out of it, nothing can be better than that. The 10 good startups will recruit 100 students in the next year, I bet it. So this pipeline has to be very well set with the interest of the students, with the coordination of the faculty members, and with the facilities that the institute is providing. We all got to make use of each other very apt and maximum to result into this. So, then I bet all of these 100 or 50 or 20, these 100 ideas can be put together for a best project evaluation and find out the best 10 projects from 10 sectors. We have the very hot cake solution from each of the segments. This would definitely be happening. It may be at a we also have to give some emphasis on the research kind of thing, which is also pretty good. Like some design has been done, the product has not been done. That's even fair. But we can touch upon various sectors, various problem areas, and find the best 10 solutions from the top 10 segments, and then try to connect to industries, try to connect to funding agencies, try to connect to MSMEs and market and stuff like that. So this is very doable. That is the advantage of university ecosystem, is that they have 500 projects ready every year, and it's our process if we can filter out 5 to 10 startups out of the 500 projects. So we need to strengthen our startup. We need to strengthen our process. We need to strengthen our align our interest areas, look upon our involvement into this sort of synthesis. So it's a shoulder to shoulder responsibility of all these stakeholders: student, faculty, researchers, administration, incubator, everybody. So that day we can call it as a project day, where we can find out the 10 projects who can go into a pre-incubation state, and within 6 months they get their final product, and then pitch it to the angel, pitch it to the VC, and then grow as a startup. Nothing can be beautiful than that. I'm just dreaming of this day, but my dream depends on all you guys' involvement, serious involvement in this. So this could happen after the project day, is that you can come in to the incubator as pre-incubation. Then you can, after product development, you can come into incubation. Then the complete incubation involves the product development, the market validation, the first 100 clients dealing. Then you can graduate as an incubator and try expanding and scaling your product, your business. The other way is the Center of Excellences. This is the faculty involvement. The faculty who are involved in Center of Excellences, we at current just thinking of training of the students in the Center of Excellences, but we call it as a lab and a bit center. It's not excellent, a bit below that if we are just doing training, because a Center of Excellence should be having all 360 participation of the local companies, the local administration, the local problem areas, society, community, freelancers, startups, then everyone, product development, industry fellows got to be trained in your Center of Excellence. When we are getting involved with all these stakeholders, then industry are there also with us. They see the potential of our Center of Excellence, and they come and get trained in our Center of Excellence. So the Center of Excellences that are there are pretty potential. We just got to look at these things set so that we create a real 360 Center of Excellence, which demand the other side, and the other side demand the Center of Excellence to be like this. So that can also be a food for thought for all of us. So we have 25 Center of Excellences. Like, we can make the Center of Excellences as a cluster. Like, who 3 Center of Excellences can come together to help electric vehicles to develop? Which 3 Center of Excellences can come together to meet 5 of our global sustainable targets out of 17? So so we got to work on these areas to address the global sustainable problems, and use our resources, use our intellects to address them as a solution. So what we had discussed, that can happen as a 360 from all of our all of the center of excellences that we have. Smart agriculture techniques, robotics lab can be used, AIML can be used, cybersecurity can be used for all that software development and data we are getting out of these developments. So all these thoughts got to be put into practice when we are picking a right burning problem and sustainable problem into our research, into our development, and students also participate in that and work on part of this problem, and also grow as a startup, grow as a good research chap, grow as a good researcher, and do their future studies in US and somewhere in the globe, very good universities. So these are the various areas that we can look at. Our TRTC has factory 3D printing, electronic manufacturing. There are IoT and this PCB labs are having. Blockchain not yet there, but it can be worked on. So data analytics, cybersecurity. These all areas need for a holistic development of a product. So we have everything. So we just got to opportunize these spaces to give you right designs which can meet the market. So this were kind of the clustering of the various
So you are not audible. Patnaik sir, are you there?
I think there is some internet issue. He'll be joining us soon.
Bhavesh, can you call Bhavesh? Are you
Yes,
there?
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm contacting Patnaik, sir.
Yeah.
I would like to request all of them, all of the participants, to turn off their camera. In the meantime,
when did we got disconnected? Hello.
Yes, sir.
yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
When
You
did
are
we get
clear.
disconnected?
Just
Sir,
in the last
Just a
slide.
few minutes back.
Pardon?
the Center of Excellence page, sir.
Clustering of center of excellence.
Okay, I think we were almost done. I'm sorry. I didn't get a message. The home, there are a lot of issues in internet. So shall we start from there or?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Sure, sir.
Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
It's
sir,
visible.
visible now.
Thank you. So, why we are thinking of clustering up the center of excellences is that we feel like, we must know that no product is unidisciplinary. The product are very much interdisciplinary, and there shouldn't be this sort of thought, this sort of product development and research kind of thought process brings in the faculty and the students from multidisciplinary works together to work on a single problem, single solution development and single problem identification. Because every problem has aspects of multidisciplinary, every solution has expertise of multidisciplinary. So there we have to look at how a product dissects or diverges into many sectoral participation, many engineering streams participation. So let's say we are discussing about developing an energy solution. So there we have IoT, huge IoT hardwares. So where you have components, you have on the other side information. So components conveying information. Informations are being jotted again into data analytics and get down to the decision making level, and energy management is carried out. So the electrical guys will be having various sensors and its utilization interpretation. IoT, electronics, computer science will have IoT implementation. Data analytics will be done by computer science and all. Energy management will all sit together and find out what are the priorities going to be decided with respect to the sensors to the data analytics that we are coming down with, and could able to design a holistic energy solution. So which address the complete problem and the solution design is nothing but an interdisciplinary approach. So don't restrict yourself thinking that you are a civil engineer and you will work with a civil engineer. A civil engineer can work with a mechanical engineer. A civil engineer can very well work with a computer science engineer, developing the models and designs for the architecture and all that. So it's all that problem which demands a multidisciplinary approach, and we must proactively getting involved multidisciplinary, or we should sort of looking at evaluating the problems, evaluating the projects in terms of what is the problem, and if it is having a multidisciplinary involvement of the students or not, or we should explore the possibilities of having students from multiple areas, having faculty from multiple areas, and uploading a problem for students. So then I was looking at the area, few of the seats. There it was very stringently asking how many numbers of multidisciplinary projects carried out in undergrad, how many numbers of multidisciplinary projects been sponsored by DST. So these are not just to modulate and change our way of writing the innovative rankings series, but rather we should have that practice in our campus. So we can always see into a problem as a project and see, making it mandatory that if it is having a multiple student disciplinary student involvement, having one or two faculty member from the other sides are working together for problems. So if we are uploading 750, 500, 750 projects, at least 50 projects or 75 projects, 10% of the projects should be falling into multidisciplinary, way of doing. So we can use all these, like you are doing a project and you are using three center of excellences. That makes sense. That makes let you feel the richness of your project. You also understand three center of excellences within that go. You have taken training during first year, second year, third year, but you have never utilized the center of excellences for a purpose. Now, utilizing the center of excellence for a purpose that yourself has evaluated, yourself has shortlisted, yourself has um, uh, kind of found out the problem and designed the solution. What can be your best feeling doing your engineering this way? And also, this in a very small scale, you can plan for your mini projects. Like if not one, if not three, four, it can be one or two COEs involved in your mini project development. So one or two, one from your branch, one from other branch, you can take your student to, go as a designing a solution. So we should all be very pro in terms of this sort of design and identifying problems and designing in multidisciplinary aspects and go forward, which would definitely grow to this sort of results to sustain, to create sustainable solutions out of the problem, out of the university, to create sustainable, way of doing with in collaboration within incubator, industry, market, local administration, and all that. So these are all tested and validated. Like last week, I had been to Tata to look at one of his villages. The village is having agriculture issues because there are a lot of pollution coming out of Tata, and I'm audible. I'm there online.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yeah.
you are audible.
So there are a lot of pollution from Tata Steel, and the localities are not going to grow the proper, agriculture. So their one time cropping and one time revenue is also getting seized in that. So we were exploring with them like to cultivate lemongrass and other kind of the essential oil producing plants with in collaboration with Flavor Fragrance Development Corporation, Government of India. And then we were there to talk to the people. We were there to look at their soil, look at the water resource, this sort of things. It was just COVID and prone, so that way we didn't take students. Otherwise, students should be there. And I was talking to the CSR of Tata that many of our student teams can go and evaluate what problems the villagers are having and what kind of problems we can address through the mini projects and major projects, through the involvement of our MBA students, through the involvement of our agriculture students. So, like we are working many, I was talking with SAIL, we will be talking with NALCO. So, they are having 10, 20, 50 villages around them in their industries. So all these villages are nothing but the bed of problems. And we as students must spend some time in the villages evaluating few valid problems in the rural India, rural Odisha, and the innovation that we bring in into solving those problems are called as rural innovation. We have applied with rural in National Rural Mission for Rural Innovation as a TBI. So they have approached to with us as a partner. So we should be keeping doing such things. So tomorrow, when we are developing a product or a project, we have a bed to go and test it, and we get very real time feedback. Other than anticipating that the result would be like this, the customer will be satisfied. Just sitting in my room, I cannot assume that. So we must be having the real-time test beds also. So by doing this, we create the real-time test beds. We create the problem test beds, problem beds where we, take out problems, solve, go back, fit it, iterate it, come down to the final problems, the final solution. So this is the approach that can be strengthened and kind of partnered, participated, and uh, converted in near future, because we have everything. We have faculty, we have very good students admitted, we have center of excellences, we have incubators, and we are building with the partners. So nothing should stop us back to take help to make use of all these facilities, intellects inside the campus. So that's it from my side. This way we can, kind of maximize our involvement with the existing strength and the incubators coming up, that has come up in the campus. Thank you so much for the patient listening. Questions and answers if anybody
Thank
has.
you so much.
Sir, how can we propose our uh, ideas in startups, sir?
See, the incubator take the startups in terms of cohorts. Cohorts as in a group of startup. Uh, what normally happen is we, as a beginning incubator, we have taken one cohort from different technology areas, and one more cohort we are looking only for TBI, which has this sector focus as agriculture and food processing. So we can take another 10, 15 into agriculture and food processing, but we can take very agnostic startups into AIC Atal Incubation Center. But for the insiders, for the student and faculty kind of innovators, we can look at the idea where it is. We can, get into pre-incubation level, get qualified to the incubation requirements, and then we can fit into any cohort whenever is coming up, and then go with the curriculum that the incubator is having. So, like, let's say somebody is having, the students are having something of app-based university level food distribution and something like that. So, when they're coming up with that development, if we are having any cohort working during that, then we can take them up. Or what we can do is we can let them into a beta testing in the campus. We can let them let their let their application that they have developed, if it's showing any issues, what kind of space requirement, what kind of speed it is having, what kind of features, what kind of responses in onboarding various stakeholders. So the validation of the application, the validation of the process can be tested within 6-7 months, and within 6-7 months you would be ready with more information and concrete application developed, who can be incubated in the next level. So it's never an issue for an insider. We can always look at the stage of the idea and keep doing till we have a cohort. Otherwise, sometimes as we are working with the CSRs, few of the CSRs may get ready to take a particular cohort on few of their problems prescribed from the industry side. So let's say Steel Authority of India Limited, Rourkela, is giving us some problem and asking IIC CGU, you take 10 innovators who can solve this problem. So we will float that problem and see if any of our students are coming with a solution. And if it gets shortlisted in the best 10, then we can bring them into that prescribed cohort from the industry. So the cohorts are like this. Either it is industry sponsored or it is self organized cohorts. But if it is an innovative idea lying with the student or the faculty member, we can definitely take it to the next level with the incubator involvement.
Yeah, Manpreet, is there any questions?
Yes, sir. Some of the questions are with me now.
Please read out.
Yes. So Deepak Roy Chaudhary has asked that what are the risk factors to be kept in mind when working on a startup project? Yes, this question.
The normally what we do is when we work on an idea, see, still the statistics of 95% of the startup ideas are dying within the very first 6 months. Why? And the reason being, the problems are not genuine problems. I feel like the problem is this, and I'm so much inspired and impressed with the problem that I don't validate my problem. So as we were discussing with few of the students, what you are solving, is it essential for the who is the buyer, who is the customer for that? So if there is no customer and buyer existing, then there is no use of there is no point of working on a problem. So first we got to work on a right problem which has buyers, and how many times the buyer will buy it. That will prove how good is your solution for that problem. So I'm providing a solution for a particular problem. You go with the solution, ask a consumer to buy it. Let's say he purchases it, but is he coming back to you for buying it multiple times? Then your product is good. Then your solution that you have designed for the problem is good. So many of our startups creating problems in this only, that they are not identifying the right problem. And if the problem is also very much identified, they always say the solution that they have developed is not existing, or it is the best solution. But you got to genuinely approve your solution, that how much competitive edge it has over the competitors. Sometimes we say this sort of solutions are not existing. No, it cannot happen. If there is no competitor, then there is no demand in the market. आप अभी आए एक idea लेके, and you are saying there is no competitor. So if I'm saying there is no competitor, then ये product पहले exist नहीं कर रहा था, तो ये problem भी exist नहीं कर रहा है. So there is no consumer existing also. So we have to very much agree with the thing that what I'm developing is, or you have to develop something, a solution like Apple, who is looking at beyond everybody. So even user भी सोचा नहीं है, उस type of solution को provide कर रहा है. So this is a fascinating, that's a niche area of, it's not a need. It's not a need. It's something beyond the requirement now we are having, beyond the problems what we are seeing. But it's something very much genuinely predicted and very niche kind of solutions provided by Apple, and he's having a monopoly. But if you're solving a problem that is existing, it should definitely have some competitors, and you should genuinely do some competitive advantage analysis, which is called as gap analysis, and you have to address those gaps. So you hand over a very lovable product to the consumer. The consumer has three options. So if your product is the best one, it should give beyond the other two products. So then you are handing over them a lovable product. So he will love to buy that from you for multiple times. So these are the basic two things that we don't see in a startup when we are framing. So we mostly die, within 6 months, what is called as the valley of death. But once we genuinely do this product and idea validation, then business model canvas and business model develop karna, and then go to market, how to go to the market. The basic first 6 months of approach got to be very genuinely designed. That's why we need to go to an incubator. If you see, there is a statistics of Odisha, there are 1,000 startups registered by March 31st. But we see there are only 150 startups have gone through incubators. So there is a unstructured growth design and aspects been approached, been adopted by the startups who are 850. So there are 100 or 75 successful startups existing in Odisha. So the incubator help you growing your idea. That's what is incubator. It nurtures your idea with the right kind of essentials required at different stage of its growth. It's like a mother's womb. It adopts you. It gives you in a very safe stage, providing you the basic needs at the first few months of the growth. So then you grow stronger. Your analysis is perfect, and you don't fail. That's the thing. Apart that, there are a lot of accidental risk. That also we can strategize when you're sitting with the incubator. We are doing something called due diligence panel. Due diligence panel, we do a lot of such analysis that what sort of threats can come within the first 12 to 18 months, and during the development, during the market validation, during the go to market. So what kind of predictive problems be there, and we stay prepared with multiple strategies. If X comes, then we will go to Y. If Y comes, we'll go to Z, and kind of that. So you don't fail heavily when you are keeping experimenting with your stage relevant approaches. So I recommend an idea to convert to a sustainable solution or a product or a entity. You got to go with a incubator. Any more, Manpreet?
Thank you, sir. Sir, the next question is from Raman Chaudhary. He is asking if we can get any assistance from other departments in our ideas.
Assistance is in what?
assistance in the sense he's asking if we can get help from other departments as well in
That's what we
implementing
discussed.
our ideas.
When you are in incubator, when you are in university, all the center of excellences, all the faculties, all the incubators, everybody, everything is yours. And then when you go to a particular center of excellence or of a professor or with a relevant query, then it's natural that he will help you. There is no point of negating on that. Provided it's valid, they will help you sizing your idea, approach, and all that. And the best thing that a startup can do is he should be very much approachable, patient, and well behaved. Then you can do your solution in very low time and go to the market. Patient, approachable, and well behaved.
Okay, sir.
Next.
I hope that was a helpful answer. So the next isn't a question but a query that is getting land for a startup is a big problem, but you need to bribe, otherwise you should be a godfather in government department. I think he's
No.
asking for a feedback or something.
Who is asking this question?
This question is asked by Sudha Ankar Boyna.
Yeah, sorry, sir.
Get the
It is
name
not
right.
Sudha Ankarboina. It is me, A. Surya Prakash, faculty in Marine Department.
Okay.
All right, sir. Sir, actually,
Yeah.
I would like to know. I would like to let you know the difference between a startup and a conventional business or industry. A startup is something which has a. Can you please mute your microphone, sir? Yeah, thank you so much. So a startup is something which is assetless initially, which has a very structured business model, or which has a very disruptive innovation with him. You're doing something which stops everybody's buck. That's disruption. Or you have a very good business model, which also stops the business of the rest of the people in that segment. So without asset, with an application, just with a POC, proof of concept, you can impress the people to fund you. So a startup which needs land, a startup which needs lakhs of money to buy machines, they are not startups. They are conventional business. So your ideation, your business model should be very path breaking. So with minimal help, shared help, like you have an idea, you come to university, I take the help of the department faculty, I take the help of the mentors from my incubator, I take the help of the center of excellences available in the university and around in Bhubaneswar. I give you a small space in my incubator, and with that, if you can grow and make lakhs, then I will pick you as a startup. But an idea which demands land, rail, plane, and all that, I believe that needs a lot of assets, and it becomes a big project to approach, and that cannot be called as a startup.
Can I tell something?
Please,
Is it
sir.
allowed?
Please, sir.
Thing is, I have already run my startup organization by name Spartak Engineering Private Limited. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And this is already certified as a startup by
Yes.
this one MSME. Okay.
Yes.
And I have requested for a land. I have gone through the proper procedure in the DIC office, Bhubaneswar, and there are a lot of.
For that, IDCO land in the
Yeah,
CGU.
exactly. So my company, whatever I am doing now, I'm a professor in marine department as well as I have got an organization. Okay.
Sure.
And we manufacture lifts and we have got around some 18-20 products. Okay. We industrial automation, we have a fabrication unit, and we have services, home appliance service, and a lot of other things.
Yes.
Okay. So when I requested for this is the practical thing what I am telling. This is what
There you need a lobby.
and this is not only me. It is not only me. There are a lot of people who are good entrepreneurs. They are facing this problem. Okay.
Yeah, because those those are very city deals the secretaries are doing there in the IDCO. You have to be very close fellow to the
Yeah.
so that's a very so that cannot be a generic perception. That's again I'm saying it's for MSMEs and we don't call that startup. You are an MSME and you need real space to develop your product because it's kind of a small scale industry. So there either you start by your paternal properties or you lease out a place or you get in through IDCO. So for to get in through IDCO, you need a lot of lobby because I'm also trying one of the space for one of the expert in ESDM.
Yeah.
Still, we have certain problem and we are trying to you need proper channel and close channel to get that because those
Yes,
are
yes.
all closed lobbies. You won't be
So
all over. नॉट ओनली इन भुवनेश्वर तो ये सबसे बहुत प्रॉब्लम है अगर आप मालकानगिरी में भी इडको का स्पेस चाहिए आपको तो आपको लबी के थ्रू जाना पड़ता है उड़ीसा में
so that the government should change these things, Otherwise, the entrepreneurs they will not do anything. They will just depends on this Kalia 1, Kalia 2, and people will come.
those are also not existing. Let us not make this platform more of Odisha centric. We are making it global. But sir, I would suggest you there are a few of the districts who are coming up with DMF funds and designing spaces for MSMEs. I think Angul, Tinkanan, so they want to develop spaces for a couple of 30, 40 kind of MSMEs and they're providing space to them. So similar structures maybe, we are also in talk with many of the DMFs providing such designs to them. So it's like nobody can say anything. Only the DMFs are more open towards their regional, MSMEs. They are giving spaces, but that again limited. That can be like this. So here you have to, it's an unsolvable problem. And then this was coming in the startup landscape. We just do kind of like a startup is like what you are having the problem, the product. उसमें अगर मेरा कोई एक लड़का ऐसा बनाएगा कि उसमें मोटर एक बहुत लो कैपेसिटी मोटर यूज होगा आपका लिफ्ट में एंड दैट लो कैपेसिटी मोटर कैन बी डेवलप्ड एट अ वेरी लो कॉस्ट सो आप जैसे जितना भी लिफ्ट मैन्युफैक्चरर हो उसका मोटर आप लेके जाओगे एंड उसको मोटर डेवलप करने के लिए बहुत कम स्पेस चाहिए तो that I can give them in one of our COE or in our space or somewhere like that or things like that but आपके साइज का कंपनी को you was what problem you are seeing is genuine and pathetic.
Unfortunately, that is the fact. What to do,
sir?
Yeah, the government should develop these things, so then only the entrepreneurs will come up. Otherwise, the entrepreneurs are harassed by the government.
I think I will let you know if you connect me on my number. I'll let you know a few of the DMFs. If any of the DMFs are developing such a space and they are not getting startups, they can help you. But you have to have your manufacturing there.
Okay. May I know your name, please?
Yeah, this is BP Pattnaik and my number is there in the chat box.
Okay. BP, thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Hello.
Manpreet, Pragya madam is asking something. Let her.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, Mr. Pattnaik, there's a very small query from my side. Is there any scope of English to be a part of incubation centers? That's a very small question that I would like to ask.
I want to add with you, Professor Pragya. English as well as math. Okay, that I'm thinking. Okay, thank you.
Madam, English, like the startups, especially if I talk about the startups in Eastern India, they need a lot of nurturing as a business person, as a co-founder, as a director. They call themselves directors, CEOs, and all that. But they don't have the right environment to grow themselves like a CEO. There we give them a lot of sessions in which they break that ice and they make themselves competitive to the global directors and CEOs of the startups. So that's a very customized need of Eastern India startups, and then we are in a process to develop that sort of I'm just working on the need of the cohort that we have currently having, and I was in also thinking of hitting knocking at you. I have such needs if English and the MBA can help me in one or two cases. And the other the startups also needs when they are raising funds with the venture capitalists, they also need to create a very good story for the venture capitalist, which is true and kind of very much impactful. So the English faculty members, professors who are quite articulative, keeping relation with many sectors, keeping link with updates, or they can also start creating interest, molding themselves like that. They can help the startups creating a right story, creating a pitch deck for them, looking at the need of the venture capitalist, angel, and all that. On this, I can give a little bit basic inputs on what kind of traits and attributes required for the English faculty members to help the startup in this regard.
I just understand that it is basically content designing in which English people can involve themselves in these incubation centers and all.
This is incubation centers. In an incubator, your involvement can be like this, but otherwise, there are a lot of things, problems. I cannot prescribe problems, but if somebody is interested, there are a lot of language-related interpretation, platforms, interpretation devices are being made, and the natural language processing has a lot of devices now they are happening around. They're also in the process of conceptual clarification, NLP, and other things. Uh, English professors play a role. Stuff like that, which is there in the book. You want to make a device, and there the subject area expert can help him out. So as a subject area expert, you help there in the language processing and all that areas of work. If I come across any such ideas in the cohort, I'll get back. As it is, I was just thinking of I think Professor Kanungo will help me out to have the list of the faculty members and their profiles, so we can cater them for different need of the startups. And recently, just we were planning the startups to present before all the faculty members. Meanwhile, they stopped coming to the campus because of the sudden spiking of the COVID thing. But still, I will connect to all the faculty members. Any faculty who has interest in these 15, 17 startups, whose subject area expertise interest, you know, lie in the similar space, they can definitely touch me, and I can connect one-to-one with the startup, and then we can see how our partnership can grow.
Yeah, Mr. Patnaik, like before they start doing all these things, they need to attend some kind of workshop related to that particular product on which they are going to work or something. Because maybe they have the expertise or the flair to write, but they do not have the exact understanding of the product, the use, and other things related to that.
Yeah. So in that go, I was also planning a bridge course. Once we talk in a detailed session with the faculty members only, then we can have few bridge courses from the experts, which can help the faculty members from subject area expert to a mentor, to a startup mentor. A startup mentor usually is a bit rich in terms of network. He knows a little bit of industry sectors. He knows a little bit of other stakeholders in the network. So, but we have initial involvement process which can be very well fit into the subject area expert, like in the evaluation panel, in the due diligence panel. The faculty can come in and see how it happened, and let them in the phase of a growth to become a mentor. And a mentor is a separate profile which can let you altogether work extra to your current profile. So that's based on your interest and time and all that, because startups are very timeline fellows. So when you see that you have interest but you cannot give a time, then you don't involve with the faculty. But sometimes you have time and interest and network, then you have a serious involvement with the startup. And also mentorship works in a different mechanism. We can come to that. And I was discussing with one of the stakeholders to bring in such a program where the interested faculty members from various technology sectors that we are dealing in the campus can be a part of it and mold themselves to the growth of a startup mentor. I think that would be helpful. Could I answer your question, madam?
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Manpreet, do we have any questions for Vishal?
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, sir. So we have probably last question from Biswajit. He is asking, what can we do if someone steals our startup idea, and what are the steps for it?
I think we plus or minus discussed on this only. So just I have put my number. I request the fellows to please ping in my WhatsApp so I can answer you. Let's not everybody spare the time for your answer. Would that be perfect for you?
Sir,
In
I
the
don't
number you
think
can
we have any
WhatsApp.
more.
Okay, that's great. Then you can proceed for closing this session. Dr. Hilol.
Yes, sir. Hello.
Yes, sir. We can proceed to close this session.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Definitely. Manpreet, you can go ahead.
Yes, thank you. So at last, I am thankful for all the participants for today's event and all the faculty members who have given their valuable time and in attending this session. And all the participants, I thank you all for keeping the chat session alive with their ideas and thoughts. I would also like to thank our today's speaker, Mr. Bhagabati Patnaik, for his convenience and presence, which I am sure will be fruitful for all the aspiring entrepreneurs, participants, and faculties present today. Well, we will be sharing the feedback link in the chat again, and it will be activated for 15 minutes after the closing of this session. I request all the participants and the faculty members to go through it and give their valuable feedbacks and write the name that is to be printed in the certificate that will be mailed to them shortly after. But now, with that said, I would like to wind up the session for today. Thank you.
Can we have our camera open so that we can say goodbye to everyone? So now we can say everyone goodbye. Bye bye.
Thank you, IIC members. Thank you, IIC and its
Thank
governing
you.
body for bringing in a good session. Thanks a lot.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Please
sir.
sir.
let me know if any
Thank
way
you,
I
sir.
can help you out.
Thanks a lot, everyone.
Thank you, all the professors.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Hello.
you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Bhagawati, and thank you all faculty and students. Thanks.
The form is activated for the